best car, SUV, or truck, guess what? You're in luck. Frontier Motors is down the street. Got the best deals that can't be beat. Don't overpay, come in today. Doing business the old-fashioned way. Frontier, we've got the right price. Frontier, we'll treat you mighty nice. Frontier Motors, low overhead country.
And we are pleased to have the owners of that fine establishment here, ready, willing, and certainly more than able to take any phone inquiries from you in regards to your desire to get the price of a car, truck, or SUV that you're thinking of buying or selling or trading in. How would you do that? You would dial 478-3116, 478-3116, and then that's my job, connect you with Ivan Streckler or Ron Schneider. Good morning, gentlemen.
Hey, Don. Thanks for the intro.
Good morning. Yes, we are here live on the radio, and we are also here for our cable viewers, taping our TV show, having a good time, and talking about values and about Frontier Motors. A little bit about Frontier Motors. We've been in business 18 years. We're located at 230 Beverly Parkway, right in the middle of Escambia County. We are an independent used car dealership, and an independent used car dealership means we're not under a franchise banner. And last week that you saw the show, Ivan came on with two of our newest employees, one being Monroe Watley. Monroe Watley joined us out of the grocery business, and also Todd Gordon. Todd Gordon was the previous coach of the Pensacola Ice Pilots, and it was a good show. I enjoyed it. We got to introduce those two folks to all of you out there in cable land and TV land. So if you know one of those and like to do some business with them, they're there at Frontier Motors. But this show is generally on the radio. We're about values, and also on television about values. And Ivan's got some of those in front of him.
That's right. One of the things that we talk about on the show is if you want to sell your car and you want to know what it's worth, forget about the Kelley Blue Book or the Edmunds or the NADA Consumer's Guide version. I think what we do with this show, and we let the people in the Pensacola area know that there is a dealership out there that's willing to give you what we call the real value of the car. And how do you get the real value? Not a book value, the real value. Well, number one, you can stop in at 230 Beverly Parkway, and we'll tell you the real value by writing a check for your car if you want to sell it. But the other thing we use is a book that is called the Black Wholesale Guidebook. And these books are not on the internet. And these are what I sometimes call the secret books that most car dealerships are not going to show you. They're not going to leave them laying on the desk, because this they compile the data of what's going on at the auctions throughout the nation, and they put it into a book. Now, the truck book that I'm holding up comes out every 2 weeks, and the car book is a little bit smaller, comes out every week. Now, we can get this data instantaneously by going on the internet and logging into Manheim.com. The Manheim auctions are the largest auction in the nation. And the reason this is very important, because if I know what I can buy a car for at the auction, I also can tell you what I can sell it for by putting a moderate or small profit on it, adding for the shipping and adding for the buyer's fee. And I compare that to the NADA guidebook. Now, the reason I'm holding up the NADA book, this also is a book that you cannot get on the internet. It's a little bit different than the consumer's version. This book is the one that the banks and our credit unions and a lot of our insurance companies in our area use. And the reason this book's very important, because they'll tell you that if you call a banker, sometimes a banker will tell you this is what the car is worth, but what they really mean is this is how much they'll borrow on the car. If you want to know what the car is worth, you dial 478-3116. You can join us on the show right now if you're listening to this on the radio, and we can help you out instantaneously by giving you a price on your vehicle.
I think that's great that you tell them to get rid of that Edmunds, get rid of the Kelley Blue Book, because it's confusing.
We should really talk about
that. And why? It's because it's confusing. It's not used in our area. Don't get me wrong. I mean, when you compare prices to Pensacola, Florida, and to San Diego, California, they're different. And that's because there's two different books used, number one. So be cautious. And you take this Edmunds Guide, and the Edmunds Guide is really selling their soul. I'm not saying against anything Edmunds if they've got representative listening or anything like that, but what they're doing is they're selling everybody their soul on the internet. So if you get on the internet and you click on a car, boom, Edmunds picks up. You know, you click on another car over in Mobile, boom, Edmunds. So they're basically selling you the idea that they have their values, but it doesn't help you in this area. So try to stay away from it. If you want to look at it, go right ahead. I mean, if you think that's what you should do. But I'm going to tell you, if you get into our community, you get into Escambia County, Walton County, Mobile County, and all these other areas here, you're going to find that NADA and the Black Book are the ones that are used, and that'll keep you from getting unconfused and make the process of buying a car a little bit easier. That's one of the reasons we do this show. And Ivan and I have come to you 18 years ago. We started doing this show, and we wanted to make it a little bit easier for you to buy a car. No matter if you buy from us or not, we want to make it a little bit easier, and that's why we're able to take some phone calls at 478-3116. Don Parker was the gentleman that introduced the show, and he's been around here. They used to have a dirt road out front, and he started this place.
He's not. Are you saying that Don is older than dirt? Don,
no, there was a dirt road in the front up here on W Street. No, but WCOA has been in business 85 years. We just happened to let us use the studio so we can talk about Frontier Motors.
And one thing, when we're talking about the book values, Ron, one of the things I can also tell you is that sometimes the Edmunds and the Kelley Blue Book are actually higher than the books we use. You know, we don't manipulate the books. You can look at the Edmunds, but what if the Edmunds says that the vehicle's worth $20,000, but the black wholesale guidebook says the vehicle's worth $14,000? Now, if I can buy a car wholesale for $14,000, and let's say I'm going to round off the figures, let's say it costs me $1,000 to buy the car, and the way that works is the auction normally charges about $300 to $400 when you buy a car at the auction, and the buyer that you send there to buy the car normally charges somewhere around $300, and it usually costs about $300 to ship the car back here if it's coming from Atlanta or Mississippi, if it's coming from Orlando or Tampa. So that adds up to $1,000. So you got a $14,000 wholesale car, you spend $1,000 on it, you got $15,000 in it. Let's say you mark it up $2,000, that's $17,000, but the Edmunds or the Kelley Blue Book says it's worth $20,000. So you'd be overpaying. So it works in your favor to check with Frontier Motors before you sign the dotted line. I don't care if it's a new car or a used car. You call Frontier Motors, and we can help you out with not only telling you what to pay for the new car, because we have the new car cost guides at our dealership. We also can appraise your car for you to give you a second opinion that if you're going to negotiate a deal on a used car or a new car, to make sure they don't undervalue your vehicle. This only takes a couple of minutes, and if you can't stop in at 230 Beverly Parkway at Frontier Motors, you can give us a call at 436-8080. Ask one of the sales managers, and we can give you a price on your car over the phone without seeing it. The only thing that we do is say subject to any reconditioning. So let's say if the tires are bad or you got a cracked windshield, I can tell you your car's worth $20,000, less any type of major reconditioning, just to make sure that you don't go to a dealership and I'm telling you it's worth $20 and they're offering you $17,000.
Makes a lot of sense to do that before you go to the dealerships.
Don't do it afterwards.
Don't do it afterwards. Makes it a little bit easier. You know, if you're going to go buy a new car, that's one of the services you might want to use, because going in to buy the new car is tough enough, because you do your research, you find out how much the dealer paid for it, but now you do that, you offer them some profit on it. Now all of a sudden you throw the trade-in in there, now you're kind of guessing what they're going to do. Well, why not stop the guessing? So use our free services at 436-8080, or stop by Frontier Motors and have that piece of paper in your back pocket. You know, we can give you that in your back pocket. Slip it back in there, go to the new car dealer, sit down, act like a professional, get your wife's there, your kids are there, you love the vehicle. Now all of a sudden you get your car appraised and you'll have all that stuff in your back pocket. A little bit about Frontier Motors. 293 cars in stock. That's a little bit light, but that's still a lot of cars in Escambia County here. We're the largest independent dealership in the state of Florida, and the largest, of course, in our area. We keep a lot of good quality cars. If you're looking for good quality used cars, Ivan does most of the buying, about 80% of it. The rest of it is done right there at the dealership when you sell us a car. And the reason I'm telling you about our inventory, and it's 293, usually we keep about 325. So we're out there asking you in TV land and out there, of course, on radio land, if you got a nice, clean, used car and you're thinking of selling it, all you got to do is bring it by. And Ivan said it was pretty easy. Sometimes you can get a figure before you bring it or when you bring it. You know, to get a precise one, all you got to do is stop by 230 Beverly Parkway. Keisha Streckle, Todd Gordon, they do a lot of the buying right there. Ivan and I do that same thing, plus Monroe Wally. But it makes it easy and simple, all of 5 to 10 minutes at the most. I think I saw somebody wait one time about 3 or 4 minutes, but that's it. And we'll give you a buy figure, and we'll do it in writing. That way we can have a little bit more inventory. Good example, a gentleman called me on Saturday. He just got a company car.
Ooh,
and he's
congratulations.
Well, he was all excited, but then he says, I just bought this car about 4 months ago. How bad a punishment I'm going to take?
Bad.
I explained some of these things to him. He says, but it doesn't make sense because I have to make payments. I have to make insurance payments. He was going to lose about $1,100 to sell it to us. Or he could retail it and probably break out even. So he said, I'm going to try and sell it for a couple of weeks, but I don't have the time. He says, how long has that buy been good for? I told him a week. He said, would you give me 2? I said, probably. The car's so new and you're not putting any miles on it. But those are things that we can do. We can buy a car. The other thing that we do with this price sheet is that if you're a Sunday shoppers are people that come around when we're not around. And they think they have to come around when we're not around because we're going to bother them. Well, one of the things that we put into effect many, many years ago, we've been in business 18 years, is a price list. If you want to come to Frontier Motors during the day with your spouse or your friends, your family, your daughter or son, and walk around on your leisure, then you can have one of these sheets, go around. It tells you how much the car we're asking for it, if it's advertised anywhere. And then Ivan touched on it a little bit earlier. If you're going to borrow a car, it has the NADA loan value on the right-hand side, which is great to know if you're going to borrow a car, but it makes it really easy.
Money, you mean?
Borrow, yeah. But if
you said borrow a car.
Borrow a car?
Borrow money for a car.
Borrow money for a car. Is that what I said?
No, you didn't.
You know why I can't hear what I said? Because this goofy thing over here keeps going on and off.
Yeah, you missed it.
So he's
referring to his headphones, not his partner.
Thank you.
Thanks for clearing that up. Yeah, everyone in TV land would like to know that. But anyways, it makes it easy for you to shop during the day, so you don't have to come and do a Sunday night shopping or evening shopping. You know, the evenings got a little bit nicer. They've gotten a little bit lighter during the after 6 o'clock hours, and it makes it a little bit easier for shop. But you can shop during the day.
That's right, Ron. And one of the reasons that we are doing this service, obviously, I'd rather buy a car from a private individual like yourself. And I've found that a lot of people, and we'll use Craigslist as an example. A lot of people put their car on Craigslist, and after about 2 or 3 weeks, they get a little bit nervous. And even though it's lighter later, if you work till, let's say, 6 o'clock at night, by the time you get home and eat supper, it's dark out. And you're going to have somebody come over to your house to test drive your car to find out you never know if they're going to come back with it or not. And one of the things that we do for you is we give you a price on your vehicle if you're going to sell it. Another thing that's difficult for private individuals when they list their car for sale on Craigslist or on AutoTraderCars.com is that they don't realize that a lot of people won't call them because they're normally not going to take a trade-in. And that's where a dealership comes in, because what we do is if we buy a car from you, I can offer financing, I can offer extended warranties, and I can put it on 10 to 15 different websites. And we can do this for you, that if we give you an offer on your car and you feel that it's a little lower than what you can accept, what we can also do is do a consignment value. And the thing with the consignment is you drop the car off, we sell the car for you. We're willing to pay you more money for the vehicle on consignment because we don't have to tie up our cash. So if you ever want to go to a dealership that does consignment and doesn't charge a monthly fee, Frontier Motors, I think, is the only one that I know of that will do a consignment without charging you. The way we make money is anything over, if I tell you I'm going to net you $10,000 if I sell it for $11,000, we end up making $1,000 on the car. But it's a really good way to get rid of your car, get a little bit more than wholesale, and have us do all the work.
We do all the marketing. That's the big deal. You know, it costs us about $120, $126 a car to market it. You know, that's advertising, AutoTraderCars.com.
But we pay for that.
And we pay for that, not you. And it's, again, according to the net. One of the things that we always do is, or we try to always do, is try to find window stickers in the glove box of cars. And I got a few here. I got about 3 or 4 of them. And I like to read some of these because its amount of savings is kind of crazy. You know, we talked about that guy that bought the new car and he had it 4 months old. He lost his shirt. He didn't lose his shirt. He just lost his drawers. He was 30. This is a F-150, 2012 F-150 Super Crew that Ivan bought. Bought it at a great value here. This is $37,510 new. I have the window sticker in front of me. It's got 10,000 miles on it, 31.8. That's a $6,000 savings. And it's only got 10,000 miles. Folks, you got to kind of look at the used sometimes if you're going to, go to the new. I met a couple that's retired out of Gulf Shores, and the deal in the first car was good. They bought a second car, so they knew that the deals were good. And they're retired. They could afford anything they want. They wrote checks for both of them. But, they knew that they were saving so much money. Here's a Lexus. I haven't found a Starfire Pearl. I don't know if you've ever seen Starfire Pearl. It is a whitish gray, and it is absolutely gorgeous. These Lexus really know what they're doing. They paid them $45,323 new. It's got 13,000 miles. About a $6,500 savings. This is a 2012 now, folks, for $38,750. Now, $38,750 sounds like a lot of money, but when you go over there in that new car showroom over there, and you get sticker shock at $45,000 and $48,000, and this particular one has the premium package on it, which includes some pretty neat stuff. Of course, the leather. It has the auto-dimming electronic headlights. It has the heated and air-conditioned seats.
Wow.
It has initiative parking assist. Now, it doesn't actually do it for you. It helps you tell where everybody is when you're parking something. It has the... It has a transmission cooler on it, which is kind of wild. It has a wooden leather steering wheel. I never knew that a Lexus had that. But here's a vehicle that you can save $6,500 and still have the factory warranty. We had a gentleman buy a Lexus on Saturday, and it was a 2010. It still had about 3 months of warranty on it, and it had almost 17 months of drivetrain warranty on it. So ask your dealer when you buy these cars, how much factory warranty that comes with it, because that's absolutely free. The factory warranty follows the serial number. And those are some of the savings. I got 4 or 5 more, but we always got things to talk about when we're on the radio and TV.
You talk about the savings, and that leads us into letting the people know what type of inventory we have. You'll notice that we don't talk a lot about what we have on the lot because we have almost 300 vehicles available. But I'll give you an example when we talk about the alternative to new, that if you're thinking that when you go to a used car dealership, all they have is cars with 70,000 or 80,000 miles on it, how about a 2014 Honda Accord that we have on the lot right now with 295 miles, not 29,000 miles, 295 miles.
That's even hard for you to say.
It's very hard for me to say. 2013 Honda Civic we have in stock right now with 800 miles on it, a 2013 Smart Car with 1,000 miles on it, a 2010 Challenger, I think Ron sold this on Saturday. It had 1,000 miles on it. A 2010 Challenger SRT8 with 1,000 miles on it. How about a 2014 Acura MDX, the new body style Acura MDX? It has 1,400 miles on it. A Hyundai Sonata with 1,500 miles on it. A Toyota Venza with 1,700 miles on it. An Odyssey with 1,900 miles. I can go on and on. And these are the type of cars that we stock at Frontier Motors. About 50% of our inventory is going to be late model, 1 to 2 year old vehicles, and the rest of the 50% of the inventory are going to be trade-ins on vehicles like that we can sell under $10,000. So we have really something for everybody, from high-end sports cars to cars that are just about brand new to cars that can be sold for $3,900 to $4,900.
And sometimes having the freshest, best inventory on the lot is big. Ivan was looking at someone's inventory the other day up in Atmore, and they found out that they had this particular car on the lot for two years.
Well, one of our customers is going to go look at it, and I did their Carfax for him because I didn't want him to have to drive all the way up there, because we had a vehicle similar on our lot that we had just gotten in. Happened to be a Ford Expedition. And Ron, I ran the Carfax on it, and I thought, this can't be. They literally have had the vehicle in stock for 2 years. So that puts the flag up to me like, what's wrong with this thing? How can a dealer have a car for 2 years unless there's something wrong with it? Because most dealerships are on a 60 to a 90-day turnover. In other words, if it don't sell, go get rid of it and we'll get another one. 2 years in inventory. Needless to say, the guy went up there and he said it was a rat.
Well, it could have been the ex-wife or something, and they took it and never came back with it. This is the manager's ex-wife.
Oh, that's possible. I never thought about that.
Put
Only
a dealer
you
tag on.
would have a devious mind like that, going through ex-wives like crazy.
Don. Help out. Don, Ron.
I've been married once. How many times have you been married?
Between Don and I, 4, and you're 4.
I got 3 or 4.
You're 4.
We got enough for our own hockey team. Let's put it that way.
I would know that.
I have a wonderful
I would never
wife.
think that the reason the car was in stock for 2 years is because the guy's ex-wife took off with it and didn't bring it back.
I have a wonderful wife.
I think if that happened, I would take it off my website.
I have a wonderful wife. We've been married over 20 years now. It's just, I've been married 35 years. Just happens to be 4 different wives.
Oh, there you go.
But we're talking about inventory and everything.
He turns them over.
Ivan can buy cars. Look at this. This is in 7 days. We're talking about fresh inventory. If you want fresh seafood, you go to Joe Patty's. You want fresh inventory? Frontier Motors. This is in the past 7 days. You open the next sheet over back here, and this is a lot of cars. I think there's 54 on each one. This is in the last 10 days. So the first sheet, this sheet says 108 cars in the last 14 days that we've gotten into Frontier Motors. And it makes a big difference in the car business. And where it really makes a big difference is in the salespeople, their tempo, their up-tempo. They love new, fresh inventory. They love calling their customers back. And when you go to a car lot, and Ivan and I have talked many times about this, leaving your telephone number sometimes is like the bad curse.
I'm not giving you my number.
Right. But at Frontier Motors, because the inventory changes so often, and changes because we're selling cars, 229 cars last month. So we have to buy 229 cars. So there's 550, basically 60 cars that went through Frontier Motors in 1 month. Now, you should leave your number at Frontier Motors if you're looking for a particular car. And you're right. Sometimes you have to be a little particular who you leave your number for. But if you come to Frontier Motors, you're shopping for a car, move fast. It's going to move fast, and they're going to come in. And nice, fresh inventory. It's always a lot more fun, just like looking at some of these cars. I didn't even know they made a little hybrid Lexus that you bought, the little 200H. Yeah. What a great little car. And last night I was watching one of the programs on TV, and they were advertising Lexus's 200H that gets 40-some miles a gallon on the road.
CT 200H. We've got a Pro White one in stock.
What's that? CT 200H?
CT 200H is what it's called, and it gets about 45 miles a gallon.
That's crazy.
There's a couple of things that we offer at Frontier Motors that you might not get from other dealerships, that if you're going to buy a car from a dealership that doesn't subscribe to Carfax or AutoCheck, we subscribe to both of the largest independent, research?
I don't know. I don't know what you're going to say.
What's
Most of the time I can read your mind.
Auto check.
Don,
and
help
Carfax.
Don. Help
History
Don.
reports. There
Don.
we go.
What does he say?
The two largest history report companies in the world. All right, and we subscribe to both of them. So if you're going to a dealership that doesn't have Carfax, because they're $40 a piece. If you want to run a Carfax, it's $40. We do it at no charge for you. And so just call us with the ID number. This could be a private individual's car you're looking at. It could be a dealer's car. There are some dealerships that don't subscribe to it because it's very expensive. We pay one fee. We're large enough where we can just pay one fee, and we can run as many as we want. And I'll run a history report for the auto check and the Carfax for you at no charge. The other thing we talked about earlier is that if you're going to buy a car from another dealership, bring us that car. If it's local, just drive the car to Frontier Motors. Let us scan the ID number. We'll do the history reports, and we'll immediately give you a price of what we can sell a car just like that for. Sometimes we might have the twins sitting right on the lot. Doesn't mean you have to buy ours, but you can compare it. You can go back to that dealership and say, well, Frontier's got one just like it, and they'll sell it for $20,000, and you're asking $23,000. So you can use that information to get that other dealer to drop the price down to where we should be, just to make sure you get yourself a good deal.
Or I just happen to have this with me. It could lead you into saving you a lot of troubles.
Ooh, that's
and
red.
this Carfax right here.
That's bad.
Normally, you folks out there in TV land, of course, in radio land, you can't see it, but there's a big red stamp up on top that says branded, title, rebuilt salvage. And when you go back here to page 1, 2, and 3, all you see is red.
Red bad in the car business.
This is a customer that came by with Joe Clay is one of our salespeople and said, I'm buying this car here, and Joe says, well, why? He says, well, it's almost $2,000 cheaper than the one you have in stock. And you know what's really, really strange about that? Guess what? Carfax got into that too. They say it's worth $2,000 less than any other car, but in reality,
we think
when we find out in the market area, you look on Manheim Rocket Reports, you look at any of the reports, it's worth about 45 to 50% less. So you have to be a little bit cautious on some of the cars that you're buying and some of the prices you see out there. There's sometimes there's a deal out there, and we know that. And we know that when you go to Craigslist, sometimes there's an individual selling a car, and it can be a deal. Maybe they're getting shipped to Japan for the Navy or something like that, and they've lowered the price to move it faster. That's ideal. But check with us so we can run the Carfax for you. It's absolutely free. Or like Ivan said, just bring it by, because sometimes we can even take a paint meter around it and tell you if you're getting a great buy. Or, hey, if one fender's been painted, that's okay. We understand that, and people bump into things and people do things, but you want to know before you buy, not like you said earlier in the show, after you buy, because after you buy, you feel so bad after you own the car for years and years and years. And now you're going, oh. I had a customer the other day that had a 2013 Nissan. They bought it brand new from the Nissan store here. They had about 6,000 miles on it, and somebody clocked them right in the side, T-boned them. $11,000 worth of damage to that car. $11,000. Had only 3,000 miles on the car. Feel bad? Yes. Did that diminish the value of the car? Yes, and that's something you got to watch for a little bit. If somebody runs into you, causes a lot of damage to your car, your car can lose value once you go to trade it or sell it. So make sure you look into that. Make sure you ask your insurance company about that. And if you have to, we even put out little diminished value letters if you need it. And come by Frontier Motors.
The dinner, she's very happy. So the diminished value thing does work, and we're one of the few, the only ones that I know that will put it in writing. Anybody will tell you diminished value, but they won't sign it. I signed my name to it. I gave him a little handout for him. He went to the insurance company. He got an extra $2,000. From the insurance company. These are things that we do at Frontier Motors that you're not going to normally find at a normal dealership, because the normal dealership has got one thing in mind when they get up in the morning, and that's to sell you a car. So when you walk in there, you get all of these people jumping on you, trying to get you to make a decision right then and there. And one of the things that really sets us apart from the competition, other than the fact that we're really nice guys and we have really nice cars, is the fact that we let you shop at your leisure. We don't force you to make a decision when you're not ready. We give you all the information that you need, and we put it in writing, including the taxes, the title, the out-the-door figure. And we always say, and Ron started this years ago, if they won't put it in writing, don't buy from them. They're hiding something.
Yeah, even Consumer Guide says, get off the lot. One of the other things that we got to talk about is financing. And when you go to a used car lot, you think, well, I'm just going to have to go to my credit union. You go to a big major dealership, like a Chevy store, you got Ally or GMAC, they used to call it, or you go to Ford, you got Ford Motor Credit. Hey, we got some of the best banks in the industry: Wells Fargo Dealer Services, Chase, Hancock, Fidelity National Bank, Penn Air in-house. In other words, if you're a Penn Air member and you want to do business with us, you don't have to go to a different place. You don't have to go here or go there. Harvesters Federal Credit Union. You don't have to go from place to place to place. You can do it right there, and it's so easy and so competitive. I hate to say that. Sometimes we're competitive to beat some of the credit union rates. But, hey, if you got a credit union check, you want to use them, They're happy. It takes it out of your check. Fine and dandy. We don't really care where you get your money. If you come in with a Navy Federal check and you're in the military, you want to use them, use them. But if we're competitive, that's the deal. And like I said, sometimes you're apprehensive to come to a car lot because you want some financing. A-type credit, we call that, with real good credit. We have what they call B-type credit. That sometimes, if you've had a slip in, we had a customer the other day.
A slip and fall. Slip and fall, we call it.
No, we had a customer the other day. It was sad that her husband had passed away from a heart attack, and the credit got real bad for just a couple years. But before that was perfect, and after that she got it going again. And there was a bank in town that was able to look at that and help her out, where she couldn't get her credit union to work with her. And it's because of her Beacon score came to a point where the credit union didn't want to work with her. So she came into Frontier Motors. We sat down with Darren Skitt, and he's in finance, worked with some of the banks in our area. We got the financing for the lady, and she's so doggone happy that somebody took the time to do this. Everywhere she went, they sloughed her off. You know, you can't do it. You can't do this, can't do that. But, if you just work at it, and financing is excellent right now, so it's a little bit easier for us to get you that financing, and that's all right at Frontier Motors.
And if you've inherited a car, we had a customer in 2 weeks ago, Ron, that inherited 2 cars, and he was the executor of the estate, and he came to us with both of the cars because he needed a value in writing to turn them into cash if we were going to buy them, or to be able to sell them to the relatives. So these are some of the things that we offer for customers in our area, is that we can give you a value in writing. And I think what's going to happen is he's just going to sell us the car, and then the cars, and then use the money and pay everybody off.
Just distribute the money.
Distribute money. So if you need a value like that, or if you've got a vehicle that you need a value for tax purposes, things like that, we can help you out with that. And again, I think really we want to get the word out there is that we're the people that will give you advice. If you have any kind of questions about buying a car, what the value would be, what's a good car, a bad car. Being an independent dealer, the nice thing is we don't have to sell you one make and model. We have them all lined up right there. So we can give you, we can tell you that here, we think this is a good car, this is not a good car. And that doesn't mean you have to buy it from us, but we give you all the information of the cars that we have in inventory. So if you're looking at one down the street, you can compare it. And 50% of the time, we end up winning. If our price isn't any better, our car's going to have less miles on it, be in better condition, be a non-smoker, maybe a better color or more equipment. So there's always a reason that we end up getting the business.
Use these things that Ivan's talking about. It's all free. Frontier Motors, if you're buying a car from us or not, 436-8080. It runs across the screen out there for you cable viewers. For you radio listening, you just have to pick this up and put it in your memory, or otherwise put it in your phone, 436-8080. Also, save money. We got our window stickers here. We got Carfax and FrontierMotorsINC.com. We forgot to mention that a little bit. That's our website, FrontierMotorsINC.com. Should be about 285 cars on there. It catches up a little bit for the other 10 or 12 that are on there. If you want to put a credit application on there, it's secure. You can do that. If you want to email us, one of the guys over there, Todd Gordon, controls that, and Keisha Streckel. So just give them an email, or just call us the old-fashioned way at 436-8080, or the real old-fashioned way would be come by in your buggy at 230 Beverly Parkway. Remember, free services, and everybody drives a used car.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Auf Wiedersehen.
Guess what? You're in luck. Frontier Motors is down the street. Got the best deals that can't be beat. Don't overpay. Come in today. Doing business the old-fashioned way. Frontier. We got the right price. Frontier. We'll treat you mighty nice. Frontier Motors. Low overhead country.